Hi you guys. In this video I'm going to try to answer a couple different questions here. It's all about negotiating and talking to sellers. You know, I have so many of you guys email, comment, and say, hey Khang, every single seller that I come in contact with seems like they want full market value, full retail value for their property. So how do I negotiate with them to get them to come down closer to my price so I can lock the property up on the contract? And then I have questions where people will be like, well, Khang, how can I virtually wholesale a piece of property? If how can I do it? And also too is here's a mistake that I see people made when they want to virtually wholesale, because they don't know how to talk to the seller over the phone. So what they do is, when the seller said, well, you know what, why don't you make me an offer on it? They'll be like, okay, not a problem. I just need to gather some information and then I can meet you at the property and go ahead, I can meet you at the property and then we can talk about the price or things like that. But they will say, when the seller said, hey, make me an offer, make me an offer what you would pay on my property, and they will initially saying, hey, not a problem, I would like to get some information on the property, let me do some research, and then I'll call you back and maybe we can set up an appointment to go out there and meet you at the property, right? And meet you at the property, and then that way we can give you a price. When I transfer from going out there meeting with seller to virtually wholesale, all right, doing it virtually, locking property up on the contract all over the phone, there are some key things you need to be able to know what to say and how to talk to the seller to get them to commit and lock property and sign the purchase and sale agreement through DocuSign or e-sign electronically, without you ever physically going out there or having to send somebody out there to meet up with the seller, to negotiate with them, to walk through the property, all of those, all right? So you can eliminate that, all right? And, so the thing is, when the seller tells us, well, how can you make me an offer without ever seeing the property, right? How can you make me an offer without ever seeing the property? Don't you need to go out to see the property? So we typically, like I said, I show you how to answer all their objections, how to lead them from from the first phone call to the second phone call, to get them to commit, to get them to come down on price and lock it all on the contract, all over the phone. And you'll be able to listen to me talking to the seller on a live call that I send over to you, okay? So when a seller says something where, you have to go out there and meet me at the property, all right, meet me at the property, or you have to go see my property before I sign anything, how can you make me an offer without ever physically seeing the property? Well, so I'll share with you how I handle that. So you would tell the seller, so how our company operates and how we work is that once we come to an agreement on a price that works for you and for us, and then at that time, once a purchase and sale agreement has been signed between both parties, then what we do is we'll send our local professional, all right, to go through the property, to look at the property, to determine, all the costs, everything that you have told us, and to verify that everything you have told us is correct. And if everything you told us is correct, there's really no reason why we can move forward to closing, and at that time, typically we don't want to send anybody out there. We don't want to waste your time. And let's just say if your property was rented, obviously we don't want to, how's it going? If the property is rented, we don't want to disturb your renter. We don't want to disturb your renter if we haven't come to an agreement on the price. Obviously, we don't want to disturb you if we haven't come together to an agreement on the price. So once we have agreed on a price, and once a purchase and sale agreement has been executed, at that time we'll send someone out. But as far as right now, we would appreciate it if you can be honest with us regarding the condition of the property, to let us know everything that's needed, that you think that needed to be fixed. And then based on your information, we can come to, we'll figure out what needed, what's the cost is to do all of that. And we'll take that into consideration when we calculate what we're going to offer you on your property. And then the time when we send out our guys, that is just to verify, information, all the information you told us, and making sure that there's no major issue with the property, etc. Does that make sense? And typically when I say something like that, hey buddy, it's the dog here, just taking a little walk. So typically when I say something like that, you guys, and I always ask the seller, does that make sense? If they say no, that doesn't make sense, okay, well, what doesn't make sense, you know, that I'm not clear, you know, can I explain more, blah, blah, blah. So typically when I ask, does that make sense? They said, yes, that does. And then you will continue on. Do not, like, do not pause, do not make the phone conversation go awkward or go silent, and then, you know, then they're going to start asking you questions. So you ask them, does that make sense, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, whatever it is. I usually call them by name because it just feel more related, okay? So that does make, let's just say it's Bob. Does that make sense, Bob? Yeah, that does make sense. Perfect. So you move on to asking the next question, and then you ask the next question. You do not let the seller have the chance of asking you questions and then taking you and steering you everywhere, all right? So you want to take control of that phone call, okay? So that, and so the thing is that when the seller said, go out there and meet with the seller, that's what I do, all right? So we tell them, we make them offer over the phone, and that's how our company works, and that's how we operate. So if it works for them, great. If it doesn't, then at that time, it's really up to you. You know, maybe it's your first few deals or so, and you don't want to lose the deal, so you want to go out there and you want to meet with the seller. But before you do go out there and you meet with the seller, you need to get them down on price where it is close enough, you're right, where your number and their number is close enough where you can go out there, where you can feel like you can lock it up on the contract. And you want to get their commitment all over the phone. So Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller, when I go out there and if we can agree on a price that work for you and for us, are you ready to get the paperwork done and sell us your property? Okay, you want to get their commitment. If they say, no, you know what, I got a couple other investor, you know, that's going to stop by, that's going to look at the property, etc. Well, you know, Mr. Seller, our company, we're serious buyer. We buy a lot of properties in the area, but obviously we don't want to waste your time or our time. You know, if we send someone out there, or if I go out there, if I talk to you, and if we can agree on a price, you know, are you ready to move forward or are you not? Because if you are not ready, even if we agreed on the price, then there is really no reason for us to spend the time to go out there. And you know, we do have other properties that we're looking at, but you know, we're very interested in yours. You want to let them know that we're very interested in yours. We want to work out a fair price that work for you and for us, and we want to make sure it makes sense. But we also want to make sure that you are ready to move forward, because when we made our commitment to buy the property, right, then we're ready to move forward with it. So if they say, hey, I got some other, no, I'm not ready, then you said, okay, well, maybe you should, you know, maybe, okay, at that time, what you want to do is just go ahead and have them talk to other investors and saying, hey, you know what, when you are ready, you know, maybe you want to talk to some other investor and get back to us and see where you're at in price. And at that time, we can see if we can, you know, we want to see if we can beat them in price. All right, so you want to let them know that. So you don't want to give them an offer right there, because they're going to take your offer, they're going to go to another investor, and that investor, if that investor gives them more, then they're going to go with them. So you want to go ahead and let them talk to other investor and then get back to you, and then you can give them a final price, because you asked them already. If we can agree on a price, are you ready to go, or you still want to, like, you know, play around, right? Or do you still want to go and take my offer and then go to other investor? If that's what they say, then, you know, if you try to continue talking to them, and I have this happen on a seller, and we're able to lock him up, because pretty much what he's saying, yeah, I want to know what you guys' offer. I do have some other investor that, you know, looking at the property, blah, 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 and see how hot the market is and things like that, and I want to get the best I can for my property, etc. Right? I want to get the best I can for my property, you know, but I do like the hassle-free sell, the quick closing, and things like that, right? But he's keep on saying, hey, I have some other investor, and we're like, I understand, you know, we understand that you want to get the most you can for your property. I understand that, you know, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, if we can agree on a price where it works for you and it works for us, are you ready to move forward? If you're not, then there's really no reason why, you know, there's really no reason why we would continue the call or try to make you an offer. Because even if we make you an offer, and even if we can agree on an offer, but you're saying you're just not ready to go. So we don't want to waste your time, you know, because once we made that commitment, we're ready to go. So anyways, you guys, you want to let them know that, okay? So this is just my personal tips. I know there's other people out there that have other kind of strategies, other ways that they talk to sellers and things like that. I'm just sharing with you guys what's working for us and what are we doing and what's working for us, all right? But I would love to hear from you guys. Just drop me a comment and let me know some things that maybe it works, maybe you can share with everybody, all right? So now as far as, where was I at? Now as far as talking to the seller, getting them to come down on price, you guys gotta understand that the percentage that we're going for is very, very little, which means the motivated sellers is very, very little. You're gonna run into a lot of sellers that's gonna tell you they want market price or they want more than market price. You're gonna run into a lot of that. And what you can do is just make the offer and then just let it go. Or you can just tell the seller, hey, at this time, what you're asking for is really, retail or more. So there's no reason or motivation for us to buy at this time. Because as an investor, we hope that you can understand that we want to make some kind of a gain when we buy. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in business, right? So you got to let them know that. And then saying, hey, if your number does changes, where, but in exchange, we are willing to provide you with a quick, hassle-free sell. We pay cash when we buy, so which means we can close on the date of your choice. We take care of all the closing costs. There's no realtor fee that you have to worry about paying. We are going to buy the property as is. You don't have to worry about any fixing, repairing, updates, cleaning up, mowing the yard, anything like that. We will take it over as is. So, so in exchange, if you are willing to discount, then give us a call back at that time when you're ready. So typically when seller asks for retail or more, that's something where I tell our girls to tell them that, or that's what my purchase manager will say to them. Like I said, I made it so simple. I made our script, my Khang seller script package. I make it so simple where I can duplicate and train, my wife can train anybody up within a week or so, can take down calls, can take down deals, and lock property up in a contract. It's like duplicating me, and that's how you're able to scale up, you guys. So maybe for those of you guys that are good at talking to seller, and things like that, for you to scale up, you must be able to duplicate yourself. You must be able to duplicate yourself, and that's how you'll be able to pull yourself from this and being able to scale up, because other people now can come in and take on your role. All right, you guys. And I have some other people that comments that said, hey Khang, talking to seller, it's not the main key. There's other things where you got to build a team, where you got to network, where you got to do other stuff. Yes, I understand that. There are multiple, to be successful, to scale up, there are multiple things that have to be involved. Just like success, you can't just say one thing, right? You can't just say desire. You can't just say focus. There are so many other things that are, there's so many other things that have to be involved to be successful. But what I'm saying is talking to the seller is the most important thing, because even if you're a one man, one woman show, when you first start out, when you make the cold call, when you send out your letters, how are you going to close a deal if you do not know how to communicate and talk to the seller? That's all I got to say. You say, oh, building a team. Well, when you first start out, you don't need to build a team. What you need is to know how to communicate and sell and talk to the seller. How are you going to sell our products? You tell me, how are you going to sell our products? By building a team? So, when you first start out your budget wise, so I'm saying talking to seller is so crucial, because let's just say when you go network, when you go door knocking, so basically you don't have the money to market, so you're doing all the freeway. All right, calling Craigslist, pounding the phone, networking with realtor. You need to know how to communicate, right? Communicate, talking to people, and so to me, talking to seller, communicating, handle their objections, and know how to get them to come down in price and things like that, and being able to lock property up on a contract virtually. You need to. It's a key. It's the most important thing. Is you know how to talk to them. You gotta know how to talk to them. When I first started out, I did not know how to communicate and talk to the seller over the phone. The phone call sounds awkward, it sounds weird, and it just sounds like, it just comes off it rubs the seller the wrong way because you do not know how to handle the phone call, and I did not know how to negotiate to get them to come down on price. I always, I keep on asking them, is that the best you can do? Can you go lower? And things like that. But I do not back it up with a reason why I need them to come down on their price. And it's also too, is you guys, your tone of voice when you talk to the seller is also crucial and important, when it comes to negotiating. Because when they give you a number, when they throw you a number and say, yeah, you know what, I would take 100. 100. So you got to do some kind of a gesture like that, so to them, you all of a sudden, oh gosh, okay, 100 is just too much, right? So the number that they gave you is all of a sudden like, it's just too much, so you gotta, so there's just, and the thing is, you guys, once you be able to memorize my script, once you memorize it, it's not like A, B, C, D, E. It's it's not like, you're not gonna sound like a robot. First, once you memorize it, you'll be able to add in a little bit of your own personality, and you're just gonna kill it and destroy it on the phone. Any seller that's gonna call you up will be scared of you, because you are gonna have your ratio, your chance of locking that deal up in a contract versus somebody else that do not know how to talk and communicate over the phone with the seller. You're gonna crush them. I'm telling you, you're gonna crush them. I have lost multiple deals from my marketing, from competing with other investors, because they know how to communicate and they know how to talk to these sellers, and I don't. All right, but now it's reverse. I will destroy them and I will crush them on the phone. All right, you guys, and the thing is, how do I know that? Because I have sellers, and there's going to be time where you lose deals to other investors as well. I'm not saying that you're going to win every single time, all right? But I'm saying that I have sellers that calls me and say, hey, I have other investor that comes out and look at my property, make me an offer, etc., etc. And all we do is we never seen the property, and we're able to lock them, get their commitment, and lock it up on a contract over the phone versus the other investor. Because the other investor that came out and looked at the property but did not get a commitment and did not close on it with the seller. They pitch it, they tell the seller, everything that we did, but they did not know how to close the seller. You got to be able to get the commitment to close the deal before you pitch the offer, before you make the offer. You guys, so important and so crucial. When I was making an offer to the seller before when I first got started, I made a bunch of mistakes, lost a bunch of deals. I mean, you're talking about $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 deals, all right? I lost multiple of them. So what I do is I just give them an offer, and what they do is this, what they said, oh, Khang, I'm gonna think about it. Yeah, let me talk to my wife about it. Let me talk to my brother, my sister, my family, my mom, my dad. I wanna talk, I wanna ponder it over, I wanna sleep on it, I want to think about it. And that's the one thing that we all get stuck on, right? It's like, I want to think about it. I want to talk to this person, that person. It's because when you started the phone call, you never got a commitment from the seller to start off with, to begin with. All right, and that's what I'm going to show you, is how to get the commitment at the beginning of the phone call, so toward the end, they are ready to get the paperwork done and sell us their property. All right, you guys, it's being able to get that commitment at the beginning of the phone call, so you set their mind straight, get their mindset straight that, hey, this phone call here is gonna either lead to a sell or it's gonna lead to a deal or a no deal. They need to know that on this phone call is that once you agreed on the price, that they are ready to get the paperwork done to sell the property. That is the whole intention of this phone call. All right, it's for them to say, hey, if we can agree on a price, right, that agree on the price and the closing date that works for you and works for us, you are ready to get the paperwork done. Is that correct? Get that commitment before you go through and make the offer. All right, you guys. And anyways, you guys, in the script, I'll share with you guys everything. You guys will be able to listen to the live seller calls that I put the script into action. It's exactly how I talk and communicate with the seller. Any seller that's going to call me up, that's exactly how I talk to them. I'm able to get them to drop price, lock it up on a contract over the phone, and that's I'm going to share with you guys. And the package deal, you guys, is $495, but when you buy it, you get to be able to come and join my private Facebook group where, man, I can't even put a value on that, because everybody in the group is massive action takers. They're givers. They're there to help each other out to succeed in this business. They're there knowing that, hey, you know what? We're all on this path, all on this journey together, and we're gonna try to help each other out to grow, to succeed, to accomplish our goals and accomplish our dreams. And that's what I truly love about the community. So when you first start out, you're gonna have a bunch of questions, right? You're gonna have a bunch of questions, and I am actively on there. You're gonna have a bunch of questions, all right? And what it is that when you join the family, when you join the private Facebook group, any questions, any hurdles that you have, all you need to do is pop it on there, and we're all gonna jump on there and try to help answer it for you, and try to basically clear things up for you, and trying to help you fill in that missing link, so that way you can close your first wholesale deal, or maybe you want to scale up, and and maybe you want to scale up and build a business out of this, right? So anyways, you guys, but do not buy the package deal. The link is going to be in the descriptions. Do not buy if you are not ready and you are not committed. These are for massive action takers, or for people who knows that success is my responsibilities, that once that you are going to commit to this, and that's what you're going to do, whatever is required and necessary of you to take your life to the next level, and not blaming anything, anybody, any person, or anything around you, your circumstance, anything like that. Knowing that this is not going to be easy, that it is not going to be easy, but I promise you, it only takes one deal to change everything around financially. Only takes one deal. Because even if you make a $100 on that deal will let you know that this business is real. But it's not just real for anybody, but it's real for me. Man, I tell you, when you close that first wholesale deal, everything becomes so real to you that you know that the sky's the limit. If you can make $100 on one deal, you know that you can make $100,000 on one deal. All right, you guys? So anyways, you guys, I just want to let you guys know that if you are interested, the link is in the description. It's $4.95. It's a no refund, no exchange products. And once you join the Facebook family, and that's up to you. If you don't want to join, that's cool. That's up to you. But once you join the Facebook family, you're done. I'm going to hold you accountable, and I do not allow you to leave the group unless you meet the two requirements. One, you close your first wholesale deal. Two, you're outgrown the group. There's no more value that we can add to you. So you'll be like, yep, see ya, I'm done. I'm gonna go and, get onto a different group. Okay, you guys? But anyways, I'm telling you, everybody on there is helping each other out. Everybody on there is role playing with each other. And then all they do is they help each other call back on deals that maybe, that they need to follow up, and all of a sudden the seller doesn't want to talk to you anymore. And we have people on there that say, hey, I'll call back the lead for you if you call back my lead, and things like that. So it's like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. And these are people that are taking actions. And that's what I love about the group, you guys. We're not just talkers, but we're doers. And that's what I love about it. So if you guys if you are ready to take your life to the next level, and you're tired, if you're going at this for a while and you haven't seen results, and want to make some changes in your life and step up the game, hit the link in the description, purchase the package, and I'll see you on the Facebook family. And you guys gotta understand this. You cannot get a different results by doing the same thing. You cannot get a different results by doing the same things. Whatever you're doing is not working, try mine. So click the link below. Take care, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. And most, I wanted to see all of you guys' success. I want to bring you guys onto the channel to share your first wholesale deal and your stories. Take care, you guys. Any questions? I want to hear you guys' opinion, your thoughts. People that purchased my package deal, leave the comments. Drop me some comments. I would love to hear it. If you do enjoy this, add any kind of value to you, smash that thumbs up for me. Thank you so much for being a part of the family. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day, you guys.